Hello, world of YouTube. This is Gina, and this is my first video. If you like it at the end, please subscribe because, like I said, it's my first video. Ew. I have marker. No, it's pen. Anyways, yeah, if you like this video, subscribe at the end, please, because I need all the followers I can get. Anyways, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to all my friends and family and even the little supporters on Instagram that convinced me to do this. I appreciate you all for watching and thank you. This one's for you. Anyways, so who's Gina? Gina is I, and I am Gina. Anyways, my mommy, Gina Marie Gutierrez, she lived a beautiful life. And she birthed a beautiful woman named Gina Leticia. Gina Leticia Gutierrez. They call me Gillette for short. Okay, I'm trying not to sound fake as fuck because I'm pretty much the realest they come. So please do not judge me by my nervousness because I am pretty nervous right now. And don't judge me for looking to the side because I got a couple notes. So please, I'm just being normal. Anyways, I was born April 4th, 1995, so I'm 23 years old. I live currently, I'm not gonna tell you because you gotta have the story straight. Anywho, I grew up in a huge home, very huge, and well, a lot of people, a huge family, and it was a decent sized home. I had many homes, but back to the topic at hand. So, I grew up with a huge family of all shapes and colors, sizes in the projects, the ghetto, Southeast San Diego to be exact. And earlier memories, National City, California, but I was pretty much born and raised in Southeast San Diego. Early memories I have with my brothers, I can honestly give you this little tiny memory. We were underneath the covers on a bunk bed. Oh, by the way, I have three older brothers. Miko, Danico, Jamichael. They're older than me. Two twins and an old guy. Anyways, early memories on 18th Street, I believe, in National City, California. Whoa, whoa, holla, Los Shadows. But anyways, um, so on 18th Street, I remember my mom was going to the club, and me and my brothers were laying down in the bed, and we had bunk beds, and but I slept with my brothers until I was like freaking 12. We were tight family, really tight, but we'd get under the covers and then put our hands together and then go we still do it to this day when I see them. But another little cute little memory I have of my mom. She came home faded with my poppy and jumped on the bed. I guess I was sleeping when I was a little tiny baby. Maybe I was like 2. But I do remember this pretty vividly. And she had a waterbed because waterbeds were the shit at that time. But she had a waterbed and she jumped on it. Mind you, my mommy was not tiny. But she jumped on this bed and they go flying on the floor. Boom. And that's just a memory I have. That's my childhood. But anyways, they woke me up. And that's all I really have about my dad. I don't have very many memories as a child. Besides, there's one where he promised me. He had promised me I was gonna go to Mexico to go visit him. It was maybe like 6. It was like 6 maybe, and I counted down the days. I remember counting down the days because I remember it was like a few days before. And then I told my Mom, I gotta get ready for Mexico. She sits me on her lap and she's like, You're not going to Mexico. And I'm like, Bruh, why not? And she's like, Because your dad's in rehab. I remember sitting on her lap, crying and crying and crying. And I remember from then, I was like, I can't depend on a dude. But I love my dad so much, and he's done so much for me, and I can't get mad at him for anything. He had a problem, and he had to take care of it, and that's what he did. Now he is a very successful man, and he owns his own business, and I'm proud of the person he has become. And I'm happy for his family that he's built. But I do realize I've always been in the background of his life, and I'm just here to share my story, so I don't want anybody getting mad at me. But next topic. I just know my mom loves me unconditionally, forever and ever, and she took care of me like a mom and a dad should, and I loved her for that, and I'll always love my mom. No one will ever replace her, ever. But I knew I'd be in the background for a very long time. Ever since then, I kind of just always been in the background. Mom told me never to depend on a man, and no, Mom told me never to depend on anybody, and I really wish I would have exercised that, because my life was a fucking roller coaster, and I depended on too many people. But you see, back to my mom. She lived a very, very rough and tough life. She's the strongest person I knew. And I say knew because my mom was taken away from me in December of 2010. And at 15 years old, I wasn't sure what to do. And being alone didn't make anything better. Because, like I said, we lived in the projects, the ghetto, we lived in low-income housing, and of course my brothers were gonna explore different streets and build a gang and end up in jail and prison. And I know my mom didn't want that for them, but unfortunately my brothers regretfully weren't able to share my mom's last breath with her, and that's torn me apart. And ever since that day, I've never really been the same at all. And I can confidently say my life has changed for the worse ever since then. But this isn't a sob story. I know I'd never be the same little girl that my mom hoped I'd be. I had an attitude with her, even when she was sick, It was a very, very ugly sickness, and a very, even worse goodbye. It was a heartbreaking goodbye. I believe my mom was my first love, and I've been heartbroken ever since. And who better to talk about your first breakup, your first heartbreak, too, than your mom? And I didn't have my mom. And that sucks. It sucks. And since I was already kicked out of regular school, losing my mom, I spiraled. I was in juvenile school, so, because for fighting, and I took about, I don't know, 3 or 4 days off. Spiraled. I'm talking alcohol and weed, ecstasy and lean, speed and spice. Everything not nice. I was just having my first breakup and I didn't know how to deal with it. I truly lost the love of my life. And I was alone. And no one to talk to. My brothers were locked up. I had a notebook and I wrote lots of poems. I hope to share that with you too if you guys want to listen still. Subscribe. But anyways, nothing was numbing my pain, like at all. Nothing. So I went to regular school, thinking maybe if I just continue with life like everybody else, I'll be okay. So I tried it. I went back to regular school, moved in with my aunt, which was a total 180 or 360, whatever you want to call it, because I had my own room. Mind you, I was sleeping with my mom till I was 15 years old, which passed away. I had my own room, I had my own TV, cell phone, and get this, we even ate dinner at the dinner table as a family. That was new to me, and I was bound to fuck it up, which I did. Between chores and rules, I just wanted to break them all. So I spiraled again. It had only been a couple years. Just drinking never stopped. Drinking had always been there. I did slow down smoking because, of course, I had bad trips and it just wasn't my thing back in the day. Now I'm a freaking pothead, but 420 forever. But anyways, I spiraled again. Just kept drinking and drinking. Then I got a car, which wasn't mine. Drinking and drinking. Ditching college. I was in college at Southwestern College. And I would ditch, go drink with homies, and one day I came home wasted. Luckily, it didn't damage anything. Besides, of course, the relationship between mine and my dad's family. And since then, it's never been the same. But I came to realize that if I wanted to be drinking and running the streets, I had to move out. So I did. So once again, moved in with my cousin Marissa, which I hold dearly to my heart. I even have her name tattooed. I love Marissa. And now I paused a little bit. I was just thinking. Because we grew up together. We were attached at the hip, basically. And once we grew up into young adults, we were still always together, always hanging out. And then something just changed literally from one day to the next. We started dating, started experimenting with other sexes. She just changed. But for the better, you know? She met a beautiful, lovely lady. And from then, I let my emotions and jealousy get in the way of our relationship, and I wish I could take all that back, but we're great again, you know. But back to that story. I spiraled so bad. Alcohol, weed. I spiraled, and I really fucked it up that time. I really fucked it up that time. But I was looking for an escape again. So, I moved in with my brothers. With my brother and his wife and 2 kids, and I just really finally felt at home. My other brothers were still locked up, both Miko and Jamichael. So, no, I think Jamichael was out. Jamichael and Danica were out. So it was me, Jamichael, and Vensa and the kids. And life was finally looking okay, you know? It's finally like, okay, I can focus. I enrolled in culinary school. Know what I mean? I thought graduating high school was dope, but once you put your passion into something you want to do for the rest of your life, I walked that stage knowing I was good at what I would do. And that's exhilarating. I thought nothing and no one could bring me down. And then I met him. I met my second love. By surprise. Okay. I worked at a bakery. It was called Crafted Bakery, and I worked there while I was still in culinary school, and it was an amazing opportunity. And I was making my own money, paying my rent, helping out as much as I could, because that's family. I was noticing differences in my brother, so try not to be home as much. And then I finally found an escape, which was him. I won't say his name, but those of you watching, you know who he is. I met him at the bakery, and I knew he was nothing and no one like that I had ever met before. He was so anxious and so fragile, and I just thought like I wanted to meet him. And I was so funny, and he laughed at me. And that's what made me happy, that I felt like I had someone listening when no one else listened. This was the most loneliest I had ever been, and he made me feel lonely. I don't even know if I can explain this. He just made me feel like I was missing something in my life. And I was constantly questioning myself, what am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? Then I met him, and I thought, him. He'd show me what anxiety and depression felt like, because anything he did made me anxious, so anxious. And everything he showed me made me discover the cold world, and that made me depressed. I had changed and forgot what it felt like to be happy. I'd noticed changes in my brothers, like I said, needles in their flesh, and the nodding of their heads. Like I said, I'm a poet, so I'll throw little things in there for you. I'd realized I wanted an escape again. I wanted out. I wanted to get out of here. So I chose him. And he accepted me. And although I'm pretty sure he didn't want me moving in, I did it. I moved in and I gained a family that I never had before. I had brothers. I had a mom that I could go grocery shopping with. I can buy coffee for, and gifts and flowers. No one could replace my mom, of course, but I had something, someone, some kind of love. Because I wasn't getting it from him. And I could feel the hate in his heart towards me. And that's not a good feeling. To feel unwanted by the only person you want. It's just not fair. And I'd given everything that I had. I lost family and friends and valuable time for someone that was only in it for the benefits. And we'd fight daily and argue, and in front of everybody he'd call me names, and he'd take my car and go wherever he wanted. Go see girls in my car, and wherever he'd go, I'd hope it'd be worth it, because when he came back, all I wanted to do was love him. So I was the dumb one. So I started spiraling again. This time with hardship, like alcohol and weed, LSD, shrooms, cocaine. I don't like saying these things, but I'm sharing with you my story. So this is why. He couldn't save me because he couldn't save himself. And I couldn't save him because he didn't want to be saved. And I can honestly say that's the truth. And soon we'd reach the end. And I'll explain that. But there was this night we dropped LSD with his brother. And we spoke of the evil things in this world. Mind you, I've done LSD about 10 times. But we spoke of all the evil shit in this world, and we decided San Diego fucking sucks. Let's get out. So, the next day, we literally grabbed a little bit of clothes, a freaking speaker we were gonna sell for money. My car was so tiny, but we took his brother also. Went 8 hours away to this place called Yuba City, California. Lived with my cousin, and his family. 3 of us, 1 room, 1 bed. Can you imagine? Unprepared and unannounced, we'd live a whole new life together. So I thought, I get my end of the bargain when he said we're gonna start fresh and leave our past behind. But not long after that, we just kept fighting, and then his brother would get into it, and we'd both fight and argue, and I just came to the conclusion, if I'm gonna save our relationship, his brother's gonna have to leave. And from then, everything fucked up. He'd grown so much hatred for me. His hits got harder. The cheating was right in my face now. The lies had become constant. And I just finally had enough. I finally had enough. I'd tell myself I'd never trust him again. But he always seemed to be in my inbox. Then I found out he got a girl pregnant. Mind you, is living with me. He got another girl pregnant. He was still living with me. And I just finally said, you have to go, please. You have to go. And that was my second breakup. It was a lot more uglier than that, but short and sweet. I think he was trying so hard to make me think that he was the thing missing in my life. When really, I felt whole this whole time. Because, well, I should have felt whole this whole time. Because him and I, we're just never meant to be. And I'm not mad at him. I understand. He wasn't ready for a relationship at the time of our relationship. He was just ready to be a fucking slut, probably. I can get mad at that. So, I'm just moving past it. And that's just what brings me to this whole video. Sorry, it's almost 30 minutes long, but my life was filled with so many trials and tribulations. I don't even understand how I'm still living. I'm sober, off everything. I mean it, except weed, of course. But I'm working. I have a roof over my head. I am a rose, and I have grown from concrete. And just like me, you can do that too. And all I'm here to do is talk to you about my experiences and my memories. And I just want my life to bring happiness to yours, because that's all I want. And if you like this video, please subscribe, because I really just want to be heard, and I want there to be more peace on this earth, because I've been through so much evil, and I just want us to try love. So thank you for all my friends and family for watching, and please subscribe, because I hope to make a lot more videos like